I think it's it's very funny and also very powerful.
Well, just start saying DM for short. As, the energy will be the theme for today. It certainly is a DM champion. Let's get into it, though. I expect the similar jungle bans, Pantheon, Talia. Let's see if they fill it out with anything special. From the blue side, you have a little bit more flexibility if Evil Geniuses want to whittle down on this. The big question mark, of course, for top lane is going to be, is Renekton lift up? That has been what Impact has been dominating all these matchups on. That's why the stat sheet that the analyst has showed were so favorable for Impact. And it's certainly been a comfort pick for when they want to use a strong side top.
Yeah, also Samira being banned away here as Renekton will indeed get banned alongside Camille that was taken away from Alphari. Samira, though, notably absent in most games except ones where Tactical is present. He seems to be the only one in the LCS playing that champion. He's been pretty good alongside Core JJ. So I like the respect from EG given to that pick on the blue side where they do have a bit more flexibility, as you said. And Alphari is going to 8 more bans hit. Gangplank also taken away.
Yeah, you could say he's pretty good. It's his most played in solo queue currently at the top of Challenger, over 800 LP, 70% win rate with the champion. Him and Core JJ just double killing their lane opponents in most games that they play. They actually opt for the Kai'Sa ban here in response too, because to me, that has been definitely standout champion. Now, his secondary down the ranking list has been Jhin. But the Kai'Sa being taken off the table for definitely, I think, is an intelligent adaptation here from Team Liquid. They don't go with the 3 standard jungle bans of the Olaf, of the Talia. They let it through for some more targeted bans, at least in game 1 of a best of 5. I think that's a good way to set up a long series.
Yep, and there's Olaf first pick, which sadly means that Udyr is going to drop down in priority, but that's mainly because when Olaf is left open, you can snap him up instantly. He's banned a lot of the times in these games. There's Thresh for Core JJ, and there's Udyr that we're looking for there for Santorin this time around.
Honestly, it's still just so crazy to me. Well, I've been an Udyr fan and been playing Udyr, and he's been good in so many metas, but never made the jump to professional play because he doesn't have a dash. And all the pro players will always laugh at you when you're like, oh, hey, yeah, how about some Udyr games? But now it's taken over with the adaptations of Phoenix buffs and all that. Excited to see what Santorin can actually do on it, though, because like you're saying, there's a reason that Olaf is higher priority. With the ultimate, doesn't have to worry about bear stance, and that reduces a lot of what Udyr can do. In the 1v1s, Olaf, unless Udyr is able to get an early lead, is going to have priority there. Now, this Gnar pick, though, quickly want to touch on this before they lock in for the next one. This is one of the champions that Impact specifically shouted out as being very underrated by North American players, and is actually his most played champion in solo queue currently right now. So we shall see what his underrated champion can do against Alphari in the blind pick.
Yeah, also Seraphine here has been rising, whose stock has been rising as both a support and a farming lane in the bot lane as well. So very flexible, ultimate's extremely powerful, and poke plus Moonstone is very annoying. So makes sense here for EG. I think a lot more teams are going to pick up Seraphine if the game stays in the state that it's currently in. And there's Jace picked up for Alphari. So like you said, was inviting a counter pick here for Alphari, who never really needs much of an excuse to play a carry, and he's going to try and really punish Impact here for this Gnar pick.
And it's difficult for Gnar to deal with because Mini Gnar starts out with actually pretty short range, even though it is a range champion, and people always talk about Mini Gnar trying to take advantage of melee matchups. The range for Mini Gnar increases as you gain levels, just starts out at the measly 400. So Jace is a really good pick into it for the lane and for side lane control. This is looking way more like EG wants to play a team fight game. Impact is well versed on managing his rage bar and having those very essential TPs at the correct time for the team. It is something that a lot of teams have struggled with in the current meta, though. Getting those timings right, plus getting the Gnar, through any sort of difficult early lane phases.
All right, well, phase 2 of bans is almost done, actually. Twisted Fate, and then Ashe, actually, the bans for Team Liquid. Not a champion we've seen a lot of, but certainly one definitely knows how to pilot. Kalista also banned away, so lots of bot lane focus here for both sides here. And MF kind of in the back of my mind, especially pegged with something like a Seraphine. So we'll see if Liquid maybe want to snap that up if EG don't want to ban it. But I imagine EG are going to continue the trend of taking away bot laners here and try and set up for the last few picks of this one.
Yeah, I was thinking along the same lines because when you have Seraphine, you want an AD carry usually for lane that is able to apply a slow so that then you can get your instant root into stun on your double cast. Meanwhile, the Aphelios ban is when you see a Thresh. This is basically the best pairing because it turns Aphelios from, hey, he's really good if you want to, dive on me and people try and protect me, to having actual mobility with the Thresh Lantern and playmaking offensively as well. There's your Misfortune pastry time. We get the takeaway, and this is a big denial from that Seraphine because we talked about your instant make it rain into Seraphine. E's are able to get really good harass and lockdown, but we also saw the power of Senna yesterday.
We did, and it is going to get locked in here. So I imagine Seraphine and Senna are going to make up the bot lane. Exactly how the lane itself plays out. Who's taking farm, who's banging support items. We'll save that until the game starts. But if Senna from yesterday is anything to look at, that champion is terrifying, especially as the game gets later and later. So definitely a fun one there for EG. I like it that they're bringing kind of the newer bot laners to the table in this first game.
I want to see what Jizuke's blind pick is going to be, well, because I was going to say his best performances have been on the Syndra. He's been able to walk the line of playing aggressively when he has jungle priority, when he has setup in these matchups, and also backing off of when appropriate. Now, versus an Orianna, you really need to actually take advantage of those moments early on, your Q extra range, before Orianna gets more points in the W to be able to, take control of the minion wave. You want to apply that pressure. Orianna going to scale very well for the team to apply those shields, and the shockwave going to work really well as a setup here for Misfortune ultimates. If you have Core JJ taking a Thresh hook in, or it's just a flash in from Santorin on the Udyr, both can be possible ways to set it up.
And look, you said Udyr needs some help getting around the map because he doesn't have a dash. Thresh Lantern, can pull him out just like Aphelios. Exactly the same champion as Orianna. I feel like there's never been an Orianna game Jensen hasn't liked. It's easily his most played champion, I think, in his whole career. Certainly in recent times in the LCS, but I'm pretty confident it's his most played champion by a massive margin. And this is a matchup they'll both know very well, so it will be cool to see these two mid laners, one of which in
the spells, so remade it. Both teams had the option of full remaking. That means new picks and bans. Both teams' coaches agreed to do the exact same team compositions coming in, so we don't have to go through that again, and we'll get right into it.
Yep, ton of respect there for the teams just saying, you know what, let's run it back. We were planning on doing it anyway, right? Like Crumbs was saying, maybe you don't want to give away that maybe you made a mistake already. But game number one, we'll see these drafts finally do battle as Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid are fighting for the final spot here in the LCS Lock-In. It's been such a fun tournament so far. Day to day, it feels like things change, and already Alphari is under pressure by both Svenskeren and Impact.
All right, let's see if they continue with this invade. Just going to be the deep ward here for Svenskeren to start tracking Udyr early. Both of them do have very, very quick clears. So it's actually going to be really fun to track where they start now, both sides knowing that they have the deep ward on red. It's kind of the extra level when you know what information you're going to be giving away. I see Santorin did recall for the sweeper, and it looks like he's going to start bottom side, then clear up towards that ward, clear it out a little bit later. Meanwhile, Svenskeren does not recall after placing the ward. You usually want to recall, by the way, if you're going to do this, and we see this almost every LCS game, around 50 seconds, plus or minus 5 or so, to give you enough time to go buy your sweeper, switch over from your yellow trinket, and get right back out to your starting location for your path.
Yeah, also Core swapped to Sweeper as well, kind of note. They're actually in sync with each other, so jungle and support perhaps wanting to find some sort of invade plan or just wanting to keep the vision cleared up early. We'll find out later on as Santorin is clearing through the rest of his blue side, as you mentioned. And as expected, Sven is over on the bottom half. Impact already eating some damage early. You have to think that especially when no one else is around, Alphari is going to be playing as aggressively as he can onto Minya. Great stun there from Jizuke as well in the mid lane. Going to keep Jensen's potion down a little bit there as Jensen does keep his health up. And Santorin is eventually clearing towards that ward. He is maybe not going to get spotted because it is timing out, but they already knew where he started based on the information they got earlier, so nothing too tricky there for EG. It's definitely an Ignar in a lane that we're actually expecting some pretty big things from. Seems like a pretty exciting, pretty frustrating lane to play against, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, let's go over some of the information we were talking about in the intro, since it has been so long, and we packed a lot of stuff in there for each of these lanes. For the bottom lane, we've seen so many of the Senna plus Misfortune or Senna plus Ashe, so that the AD carry can apply a slow for Senna to get the roots with her E, setting up for powerful jungle ganks and having good sustain for the lane. Which is the annoyance factor that you're talking about. So many poking tools as well as sustain tools with these combinations. But Senna is the new addition to it, where we saw really good numbers put up by Sven yesterday. And as you pointed out, with the Glacial Augment, she too can apply the slow for Seraphine to land her E snare. Regardless, up on the jungle front here, we have possible double Scuttle Crab here for Santorin. Looks like he should be able to race to the bottom one too, even though Definitely and Ignar are currently controlling bottom side. Udir's very quick at taking it, so looks like he should be able to get it and get out of there. He has Smite.
Yep. Gets and gets out. If there's one thing Udyr is good at, by the way, it's running quickly between objectives. Just popping the bear stance and dancing through the river. Does indeed take the double crab, which always feels good as a jungler. Santorin's going to go ahead and take the Gromp right as it spawns, so he is flying through the jungle Kobe.
Yes, he is. That's what both of these champions are supposed to do early on. Continuing with our information summary from Pixbands for all the lanes. The top side lane that you had your eyeball on earlier, expecting Alphari on the Jace to try and harass Impact a lot early on. Impact scaling up his range in Mini-Gnar form every level, get you a little bit more above your 400 mark that you start at. And he's been very good at controlling his rage bar for Mega Gnar as well. But Alphari looking to keep up that pressure, push him under lane. Jizuke, meanwhile, with the extra range on Syndra, does get early priority on Orianna, but we're getting pretty close to the stage where around level 5, you know, with the extra levels for your W, it starts to stabilize for the Orianna. She gets more control. And then you just have to worry about Syndra all-ins. Obviously, the level 6 from Syndra Olaf is incredibly dangerous for any champion. Jensen obviously running the teleport here as well, so no cleanse to get out of it if Jizuke lands one of those stuns. And they will have firepower to finish off that kill, so you have to start thinking about your early wards around the side lane brush. That's why you see the early investment in control ward for EG on top side, plus that deeper ward onto the Raptor pit to ensure that Jizuke gets to continue playing aggressively on Syndra.
Good use of the Lantern there, actually, by Core, is pulling Tactical out of the way of the incoming Seraphine E. Definitely and Ignar have been, trying to play up and aggressive, but Tactical and Core actually up a couple CS there in the 2v2. Good hop away there from Impact, actually, suspecting that Alphari was indeed hiding in the shrubbery, and does water and then jump out there. And with Grasp especially, Impact actually doing a nice job just basically keeping Alphari at arm's length, right? Like, yes, the wave's getting pushed in a little bit, but Impact's making sure it doesn't really crash to the tower. And with no one else up here, Alphari doesn't have all that much room to all-in Impact, because Impact's just keeping the wave in such a comfortable spot for him.
And the reason Impact does that is because without mana, Alphari doesn't get to continue to harass Impact. He doesn't have any sort of advantage. Alphari, the Jace, you really want to go get your purchase so you can come back with your extra AD, refill your Corrupting Potion, and refill your mana bar so you can keep up that pressure playstyle. Unfortunately for Evil Geniuses, during this though, Santorin on the Udyr walks right over, cleans up this first dragon, no contest off of the Distinct recalls there, takes advantage of it, and with just one control ward there in the Pixel Brush, earns Team Liquid the first objective in addition to their small gold lead due to the CS lead here. Santorin just on a tear power farming through the jungle.
Well, Ignar roaming up. This is a pretty common sight as well. In fact, Core is here as well, so Ignar going to maybe look for some CC. In fact, just going to go ahead and help Sven scaring with his Raptors, which is a very nice thing to do. But Kordo Dead busy clearing out this ward, is only going to get slowed though, as the Olaf axe, but it just barely misses. It's something else that can combo in with Seraphine. At this point, it's kind of what doesn't work. That maybe is the shorter list. But you know what? I'm not much of a jungler, Kobe. Like, I find the role quite stressful as a mid laner. Don't like
it certainly is that.
I don't like accepting, the blame, and that's certainly something that seems to happen to junglers a lot. Santorin seems like he's having a very pleasant day on the Rift. Just,
he definitely is. And honestly, he's playing to the strengths of Udyr. We saw the double Scuttle Crab start early on. That gives you a really easy fallback pattern for second respawn of your jungle camps. Alphari here goes to start this crab, but he's got no spite, so Scarin does.
The 2v2, Santorin going to get pushed back, but he flashes in on top of Jizuke. The Phoenix Dance is getting unleashed, and the Shockwave is going to force the flash out of Jizuke. Here comes Impact, gets the Gnar in, pops the Crab and Santorin into the wall, and that is first blood for Svenskeren.
Really good collapse for Evil Geniuses. And even though the Crab again goes over to Team Liquid, they make him pay for this one. I'll take a kill on Udyr over the extra Crab here. That's technically a triple Crab so far for Team Liquid. But you see this huge chunk on Alphari. This earns them the fight because even though Jensen is heading over, good flash here from Jizuke. Once that misses, even the flash does not get Santorin away on the Udyr. Not enough range there. Impact comes in on his Gnar. He talked about just 1 week earlier, Gnar being so underrated by so many professional top laners. He makes it pay off here. You have to time your rage bar. He times his flash really well, gets the ultimate, ensures that first blood kill for Evil Geniuses, and allows them to cruise on forward here towards the mid game. Blue buff handed off, and top side pressure is being answered as well as we see the 2v2.
Yeah, Jensen actually stayed in lane, so he's up here already. He wanted to take a recall, but Santorin is getting aggressive. Best dances on Svenskeren, who doesn't have ulti right now, but does have flash. So a good chunk of damage traded there. Santorin winning out in that particular exchange, but Jensen roaming up. Ooh. Doesn't find an angle there, especially with that ulti. Actually, although he does have it now. To get anything happen or make some sort of dive. So I like the attempt from Liquid, again, staying very proactive. I think that kind of mid-jungle movement is what I'm going to be keeping my eye out on for TL, because these are two very talented players, but players that haven't played together before in Santorin and Jensen. And I know people constantly have questions about, you know, how is Jensen playing with his mid laner, because he has evolved his style really since joining the LCS on Cloud9 now a very long time ago. So curious to see how that works out. I like that Jensen poked up there, stays on the map to keep applying pressure, but Santorin, again, just a very pleasant day out so far in Game 1, going to take that Rift Herald uncontested.
And especially focusing it on top side, because you picked this Jace for a reason. You have your counter pick for Alphari, rushes a serrated Dirk, goes as aggressively as he can to try and whittle down on Impact. As good of a fallback pattern as Gnar does, you can, you know, just throw out your boomerang, stay at safe range, save your hop for disengages. He did blow his flash offensively for that first blood in a very good collapse for the team. So he doesn't have that resource, and that's why they can use Jensen and Santorin to pressure up towards top side, earning them this Rift Herald without any bloodshed. Just moving up and getting that stun and small damage onto Svenskeren, forcing this Olaf back, is a huge part of the gameplay for Udyr. You're about outstatting your opponents. You're about farming hard to earn your combat stats and just earning small damage advantages to slowly push them off these objectives. He's been able to do so much control with a lot of the neutrals thus far. Early Dragon for Team Liquid, Rift Herald for Team Liquid, 3 Scuttle Crabs for Team Liquid, and now with that Rift Herald in hand, he can go to one of these pushing lanes, either the top or the bottom side, and try and make a play there. Alphari, though, currently under attack from Impact. He has gone on the offensive, despite the very defensive opening in items.
Hook, yeah, into the Ragnarok it goes, and pull out Santorin. Will call JJ. Ignar was there, ready with the ulti, actually let the encore rip, but it didn't hit anyone, so good disengage there for Team Liquid. They'll get straight back to business on top of the Drake, and it felt like we were going to get the top dive flashbacks there for Impact, who was very much in position to all-in Alphari and maybe get a kill. In fact, we're going to see it again, because the TP's coming in for both sides. Liquid in first with their TP, Impact dancing around. Sorry, that's Jizuke. Fellas are hard sometimes as Jensen there looking for the shockwave. Jizuke gets the ulti down, but it's not enough. And Jensen's going to take that kill. Now Svenskeren walking up. Going to be the next one joining the Conga line. But Core JJ, of course, he's here in the top lane. Kobe Sven, they're all in. He's going to grab that kill. Here comes Ignar as well. They're going to keep chasing. Shockwave pulls one back, but not enough to get the damage as Guardian procs for Ignar as EG going to win out overall.
And one of the things, I love this play because it just illustrates what they were talking about in their interviews. Both Impact and Jizuke talked about how this team, this Evil Geniuses team, trusts each other more than their previous teams, has more faith in them and their opinions. And that carries very heavy weight for Impact versus his old team, Team Liquid here, where he's the one getting teleported on. Alphari has the purchase. He's a mini Gnar that's exhausted right now with no rage, so he's got a huge advantage. You see the teleport answered. Here's another play on top side, though. They continue to focus Impact.
Isn't the same replay as the different top lane play, I swear, but this time Impact's going to get caught. by Core JJ as Santorin finishes off the kill. So they revisit, they still know Impact has no flash, and punish it just as the cooldown's coming back off.
It's funny because Impact was saying, hey, I'm going to use my teleport to go say hi to my old teammates down in the bottom lane where Team Liquid always play around it. Well, guess what? Core JJ is going to save you the travel ticket. He heads up topside. And the old teammates actually going to give him a warm welcome back. He's still in a good spot, though, on the Gnar. I really liked the shield into Steel Cap's opening. Very defensive. His runes were very defensive with as much healing as you could possibly get with Grasp into Red Tree. And he's chosen his moments well. Continued focus, though, for Team Liquid does find purchase there. They're still stacking dragons. Number 3 on the way in just 3 minutes. Teleports will be in the advantage for Evil Geniuses, though. Impact has been able to hold on to his, so we'll see if that can be the deciding factor. Again, you have to build up your rage, obviously, right before you go do it.
Oh, Santorin is just sending it there. So it's going to pop Ragnarok again, and there's the Lantern, just keeps doing it. Send in the Udyr, pluck him right out. In fact, as Ragnarok wears off, Santorin's got the chem tank ready. Jensen also with the shockwave over the wall is going to look for the angle. Svenskeren going to be locked down. Hook's going to be there from Core JJ and Team Liquid. Just going to overpower in the jungle. Svenskeren's fighting for his life. Tactical though, Gale forces in to make sure he secures the kill. Now Impact going to have to hop away. No rage filled up just yet. It's getting close, but Impact very much vulnerable here. Another great hook for Core, and that's going to be a kill for him. Well deserved from the Thresh over on the Team Liquid side as Tactical chases down deftly, but he does escape to his tower.
And it all comes crashing down for Evil Geniuses when Team Liquid keep attacking this Olaf. They keep on throwing CC at him, forcing Svenskeren's ult out. Then when he has no ultimate, they re-engage. This Udyr plus this Thresh Lantern constantly saving him. Core JJ is countering multiple ultimates on the side of EG with a basic ability. You know, the Seraphine ultimate comes out, the Olaf ultimate comes out, it's just a Thresh Lantern away, and they turn back around for the re-engage. Really, really well played stuff right there because they get past that big time difference we were talking about. Teleport discrepancy before the dragon. Guess what? It's burned and they got the kill.
All right, well, up 2,000 gold now for Team Liquid as Jizuke is going to get donated the blue buff. You can see total gold firmly in the hands of the 3, let's call them carries, of Team Liquid. Good shockwave there as well. Is that a solo kill? Jensen, you're disgusting. Jizuke going to get picked off under the tower.
Well, it looks like when it rains, it pours here. Jensen's laying it on. Shockwave under the tower, and now he's got full control of the blue buff as well. 1 minute still left on the dragon, but I doubt that EG are going to have much to say about it. If TL just knock over that mid turret, you lose so much control in setting up, and they might have to just wait for the soul point dragon to come up afterwards. You know, that extra 5 minutes could allow them something. Here's that re-engage I'm talking about, though. Udyr being able to rush Turbo Chem Tank, by the way, is just such a world of a difference for this champion. They kite out the Olaf ultimate, they re-engage, they dodge Seraphine ultimate, and then they're even able to chase right in through the river. They see the teleport, they immediately get to Impact, they kill him off before he's even able to transform. And then guess what? Speedster is right back out to another objective.
And they even get the Roof Herald before the 3rd dragon spawn, so they're going to collect that and then group up for the dragon still and presumably get that as well. So Team Liquid just in full control here, about to take mid outer as well. Another shockwave is going to have to be flashed by Jizuke, but Jensen has been so on point as always with the Orianna. That Luden's Tempest really working. Jizuke is going to be have even more trouble now that he's lost his flash once again.
Okay, so here's the moment of truth. The 3rd dragon is available, and it's a power play from Evil Geniuses. They want to try and test Team Liquid, see if they're willing to use the teleport from Alphari. That top tower is really low, though, so they could just go for Smite Steal and keep him topside. Santorin's there for the Smite fight.
There is a push there. Do not be deceived. I promise you, there's actually a push there because it's Ocean Rift, but the dragon is getting low. Santorin maybe just going to go for the steal, gets stunned. And the dragon goes over to EG, but TL get out without having to commit too much. So EG finally get themselves a dragon. They'll stop the very quick Soul Snowball. The Rift Herald's trying to do stuff in the bottom half of the map, so Tactical's going to guide that one in, but Impact's there to meet it. And EG finally deflect the onslaught that Team Liquid's been throwing at them for the first 17 minutes. Well, the Tactical is going to get that tower.
They're going to get a lot of towers here. TL rotating down towards bottom side. That's going to be top outer, plus mid outer, plus bottom secondary here for Team Liquid. And they set all this up with good macro to give them basically a 50-50 on that dragon. You can definitely argue that an Olaf with an E, which you should always try and combo true damage with your smites, any champion that does have it. Obviously that E with Olaf is a little bit of an advantage there, and he should, in a perfect world, win all those smite fights. Santorin attempt though there, very close, and you don't risk anything. Like you're saying, they didn't commit much to getting themselves almost a 50-50 chance at that dragon, and what they gained is this big gold lead that they can now use to get inside of the enemy territory and keep up with the mid-game dragons right where they left off.
Well, Svenskeren does get his Raptor. He actually smites it away from Alfire that was looking to steal it, but Team Liquid not done just yet. Ignar already waiting with the ulti. Kojo did. They're going to get locked up. Encore going to follow in, and that's the center shield. Actually damaged on the other side, of course, because that's definitely that sends it down as Jizuke finally gets some revenge. Going to take out Core JJ.
Nice pincer movement here. Jizuke from the top side, Ignar from the bottom. Core JJ can't dodge them all, and they're able to lock him down for the kill. They have given up so much territory, though, with all of those towers dropping in succession. The big difference here is how much territory on the map Team Liquid have to work with. And since they're the ones with the power farmed Udyr right now running around on Turbo Chem Tank, you get a lot easier rotations coming through that are a lot safer, while EG have to take the long way around, going through their defensive paths by their secondary towers.
Yeah, it cannot be overstated how challenging this map is to play right now on the EG side, because you just have no room at all, right? Like you were saying, with no territory, everything takes longer. You have to check every bush. If you try and take a shortcut, you typically get yourself killed, and then the advantage snowballs even further. So EG must play very measured to kind of move this game back to a spot where they can maybe find a 5v5 around an objective and then tip the scales a bit. Because Team Liquid are still up, what, 5,000 gold? And we're not even at 20 minutes just yet. Yes, They stopped the Soul Snowball, but all that TL has gained between objectives and gold and territory and space has just been overwhelming. And again, it's like one of those things where it doesn't seem like much. Like, it doesn't seem that fast. It doesn't seem like Team Liquid come at you all that quickly. But every time, if you kind of staple the plays back together, you know, all the different picks and the TPs and the skirmishes, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's why. Team Liquid are just, like, very clinical, yet also somehow very decisive, which is terrifying, I think, for any LCS team.
Yeah, it looks like a lot to me. Look at that, all red on that graph. And it's been so many Core JJ plays denying things with the Lantern, but also Jensen and Santorin with a couple of big ones themselves. I do want to point out, as EG are looking for a possible counterplay on the secondary tower, they get the stun.
That's a good one. Tactical is going to get charmed up. See you later. Old Svenskeren going to grab that one. Still Ragnarocking forward. Does get a great axe, actually slowing quite a few people, but Jizuke can't find it yet. Impact, though, going to be here for the wraparound, but he's got no rage right now as Alfari is there. A three-man shockwave for Jensen's going to delay the onslaught, but Impact still going in. He's still building up rage, going to try and slow down Santorin with the boomerangs, but he's going to run back towards the safety of his own jungle as EG do fight back and get one kill.
They're able to get one. Let's see what they can push it towards. They really need some of the standing gold on the map, because they could actually make up quite a bit of this deficit if they can counter push. They don't keep everybody up by the minion wave, though, so it looks like it is just going to be a reset for them. 40 seconds on the dragon. They want to get over there. Yes, because they got the earlier one, this one doesn't mean soul. This is only going to set up Team Liquid for number 3. But part of the important thing in Team Liquid winning a lot of this early game and taking down these early towers is that their comp does need to be there first. They do have less engage options themselves and work so much off of setup with vision by the objective. So it's very important that Team Liquid get here first. That way you can make more effective Thresh hooks and make them run to you through your Orianna Shockwave, through your Thresh box, rather than the other way around, which EG definitely have a lot of longer range CC abilities, and Impact has his rage built up on Gnar. He's keeping it just below transformation here, so he can try and save it for the dragon fight and look for his flank. Yeah,
rage management, a very real minigame that Gnar has to play. Santorin's just yeeting in there on the Udyr. He's so fast.
Tank down.
Udyr is comically fast, and TL going to try and get him in there as the objective has been started. Ocean Dragon currently attacking EG, but Team Liquid looks like they want to fight here. They get the crab, I believe. Dragon down to 50% HP, but Impact still angry. to be threatening over the wall, looking for the ulti, finds it, Dragon goes over to EG, and now the fight's going to begin. Good ulti there from Ignar, but they leap in there and definitely gets killed by Santorin. It's Core JJ, of course, found him with the hook, and now the fight is going to keep going. MF ulti's massive as Alfari takes down Svenskeren. He will die to Impact as a result of it all, but Impact still moving on as he does fall indeed to Jensen. So Team Liquid, despite not getting the Dragon, do win the team fight.
That MF ultimate zone in the middle was huge. Tactical just ripped them apart. And I was very curious, with this initiation, Impact actually does not want to Gnar ultimate just stand Santorin in. So he had it saved here, but now he has got no jump. He ends up getting Alfari, but the rest of the team is funneled in right on top of this Scuttle Crab where Tactical just lets loose MF ultimate over everybody, and Team Liquid instantly win the team fight into a Baron attempt here. Jizuke poking around the outside.
No ultis here for Team Liquid, but they should be able to finish this Baron no problem. No smite, of course, for EG, so nothing much they can really do except maybe try and throw a Syndra E over the wall. They're getting a little bit corralled around the pit, but they are going to pick it up. Indeed, this might happen from Santorin. And now Jizuke going to get picked off as Alfari just takes him out with a bit of help from Jensen and Tactical over the wall. And Team Liquid, they'll win the fight despite losing the Drake, but they'll grab the Baron as a trade. And I'm going to say, Kobe, that's a pretty good deal for Team Liquid.
Yeah, Team Liquid invested early in Dragons to get this pressure on Evil Geniuses, and then they've been selling off, honestly. They're like, okay, here, first Ocean Drake, we'll give it to you in exchange for 4 towers. Sounds like a deal I would take any day of the week. This one ends up turning into the Baron as well. Team Liquid have really not overcommitted to stacking them towards Soul, despite how strong it is, and they've been able to get so much in exchange for EG rushing in, focusing on these Dragons. In the attempt afterwards now, with this Baron buff, they will clean up the rest of any outer towers, and it's just Inhibitor turrets left standing.
Yep, 6 down now, and 5 to go, I guess, if you're trying to get them all. But Team Liquid looking to crack down one of these Inhib towers and then move on from there. Red Bull Baron buff still going to be up for a little under 2 minutes, so plenty of time on the power play here for Liquid. EG, we'll see if they can delay for those 2 minutes here, because they are going to need to kick TL out of their base and not want to lose any more than they already have. I think at this point, the tier 2s are going to go down regardless with this Baron, so EG going to have to try and keep an Inhibitor tower up, probably the goal here. And of course, TL's goal is going to be to do the opposite, which is to knock as many as they can down on the way, as Alfari gets a big chunk of poke down onto definitely an Ignar.
They do have a lot of healing on the side of EG, but not the best wave clear, and you can already see the Baroned up minions are just doing their work. Jizuke's got his hands full. Syndra is the safest part of the wave clear, but it's very difficult dealing with these rotations from Team Liquid from top over to mid here. And this one is so low now that once minions show up and just take down the backdoor bonus, they can just brute force this one down for the side of Team Liquid. They're doing it before the minions even get here. Santor just puts on the shell. Turtle gonna block everything, and they brute force right through the front door.
I mean, it's in some ways, Udyr is just kind of like a big melee minion, right? So it does indeed take up the tower, and TL going to finish it off. 40 seconds still with the Baron buff, so, 2.5 waves or so if they do want to keep on the siege. But no need to. I mean, they've got a minute 30 to the Dragon. They've got EG completely contained in their base. They're going to likely pick up Soul Point once this Baron buff wears off, and they decide to go back and finish it off after exiting from this siege. And again, EG just looking to try and answer here. Have to play reactively with Team Liquid continuing to assault their structures.
Yep, and the poke comes through. Every time you get a shock blast, he just got to back off. Keep your eye on the Orianna ball. He should be passing it to Santorin for the extra speed up here.
Actually using it to zone them off right now. Root does land onto Alfari. Chomp's going to hit 2. Impact with the flank somehow wraps it all around. And Team Liquid now going to have to keep moving forward as definitely finds a shutdown. Shockwave actually doesn't complete because Jensen died in the middle of it. And EG, they found the flank. It's Impact's Gnar, and what else, Kobe, that's going to give EG some life?
How fitting that Impact is able to take down Team Liquid with the teleport. Big flank, 4 members dead now for TL. Problem is they will be respawning right before this Dragon. I think EG, if they just get there first and rush it down, they should be able to get it, because there's only 1 teleport here on Jensen. And that means that Udyr, as fast as he is only going to have like 3 seconds from his respawn time to run over to that Dragon. Here's another look, though. Impact's flank was great, but honestly, the first time around, too, you see that bottom side Seraphine engage on double carries. That was huge as well. Ignar definitely doing his part, setting it up and earning them the kills on the bottom half of that fight, in addition to Impact finding that flank.
Yeah, Seraphine looking pretty good there. As EG still actually shoving down. They have not picked up a tower yet, by the way. Mid would be a great start here, but EG instead going to have to go to the Soul because they know that this is an objective worth fighting for. Team Liquid not going to be able to make it in time. It's EG that will finish it off. Impact stealing the blue buff in the process means that they'll be the team to walk away with Soul Point. Not what we would have expected given how the early game went.
Yeah, really, really big resurgence here for EG. They're still so far behind in gold that you're going to need another flank like that and another great combination from Deathly and Ignar to be able to win, because that was just so good by them, locking up both carries. Tactical did not get the channel ultimate, died as he even started it. Jensen got immediately taken down as well. And it is going to require that for a repeat, because Team Liquid with such a big early lead, still in a very powerful position here.
All right, well, TL lining things back up. Lost the Dragon, that's okay. Got a Baron in a minute to try and play for. Jensen unfortunately did lose 10 pages out of his Magi's for that death, so a little bit more additionally costly, but still a 7, not bad, but not the 17 that he was sitting on before.
Definitely true. I also want to point out, just for longtime Udyr players will never play Udyr without a skin, and Santorin is going as hipster as you can get. The black belt skin, the one that came out with Udyr, is almost like not having a skin, but you technically are. So it is the most hipster way too, because he is a pro player. They have all skins unlocked. He can choose from anything, and he chooses to go for black belt. Honestly, it's a good look with how well they control the early game and all those objectives. So I will allow it. Definitely a fan of the latest one as well as the ultimate one, though.
I'm going to be honest. If you had quizzed me, I would have said that that's base Udyr.
Yeah.
I had no idea that was indeed black belt Udyr. But like I said, Santorin's been around a while, like almost a decade of play. At the professional level, let alone how long he's actually been playing the game for since the start, I'm sure, or since very near the start, as Team Liquid still grouping up around the old mid lane. Still wanted to defend this mid outer tower. It's such a good bit of space when you're trying to play between these big dragons and these barons. So Team Liquid do actually want to invest in keeping this up. Santorin in there with a shockwave. What an engage by Team Liquid, but the counter engage is good. But Ignar hits 3 as Svenskaren's going to run in there, berserking into the back line as Tactical's going to shoot him down, as Jensen is the one, in fact, to claim the kill. But Team Liquid is going to make it look all too good. The gold lead Kobe still too big as Impact grabbed up and slain by his own team, as Team Liquid are going to storm down mid to finish off the game.
That's the hipster flash bear slap shockwave from Santorin. Omega engage right there. Just run straight at him if all else fails. Pastry, TL right down the middle for game number 1.
All right, right as we expected it, Team Liquid are going to claim the first Nexus. Poor Seraphine recalling back in her own jungle. Not going to be enough to save it. Kobe, sometimes the simplest game plan is the best. And if I can't think of a better demonstration than Udyr just running at people to end the game for Team Liquid.
Power clear your camps, double scuttle crab, dragon stacking early on into early Rift Heralds for gold focus. But then I think the intelligent part about this game is then giving away the consecutive dragons after that. After you've put on the pressure, you've put the fear of Soul into EG, then Team Liquid giving those later ones up in exchange for so much more map control, gold, and running that one through. This is definitely looking like a scary Team Liquid. This is one of the reasons that people were considering them to basically have a spot in the finals with how well they've been playing, because they've got this great macro, and then they've also made individual upgrades across the roster.
I mean, Team Liquid are just so good at trading. They're kind of like the fifth grader you trade Pokemon cards with, where it seems like a decent deal at the time, and then you look back, you're like, wait a second, this doesn't seem so good for me. I mean, TL, they just know how to play the game, and certainly the map, as they do take Nexus #1. It is time for us to step away, but when we return, the State Farm Analyst Test will be breaking down that win. See you there.